Have I Got News for You is back for another season. Roy Wood Jr., Amber Ruffin, and Michael Ian Black are finding the funny in the week's biggest stories. Have I Got News for You, Saturday at 9 on CNN, and stream next day on Max.
Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast is now on YouTube. Go on YouTube and search Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast and click that subscribe button to never miss an episode. Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Every Pokemon Episode Ever podcast. Still doesn't roll off the tongue, but that's what we do here. My name is Wrestling Chris G from Sports Entertainment Breakdown, and on the other line with me this week, he is the Butterfree to my Metapod. It's Dougie Fresh. Dougie, man, how you doing?
I feel good. I'm doing good, and I'll let you slide because I think last week we did Caterpie to Metapod.
Yeah.
So I mean it fits, so I'll let it slide.
Well, what else could I have done for this episode? We don't have any.
Honestly, the only other one you could have done would have probably been Kakuna to Beedrill, but
yeah,
because obviously Butterfree is the central
part of this episode,
right?
So this week we are doing episode 4 of Pokemon. We're still on the Indigo League, everybody. Yes, believe it or not. This week's episode is called Challenge of the Samurai, or in Japanese, it is translated to Challenge of Butterfree. And this episode aired in Japan April 22nd of 1997, and it aired here in the U.S. September 11th, 1998. So normally what we do is we go back in time on the date that the show was released here in the U.S., but for obvious reasons, we're not going to touch that. So we're going to go with the Japanese air date of April 22nd. And Doug, I believe you have our first historical event.
Yes, on April 22nd, 1970, we have the first Earth Day is celebrated.
Ooh.
Earth Day, of course. It's not a national holiday, obviously, because we still got to go to school.
No, only the good holidays we get out of school.
But
I'm sorry for anyone that likes Earth Day. I mean, I do like Earth Day, but yeah, let's care for this Earth. Woohoo!
It's kind of meh.
Yeah.
I remember, being in school, they'd teach us about conservation and recycling and everything. And I think one year, we planted a tree.
I was about to say, I remember planting stuff in school.
But,
yeah.
And it's fine. It's got a little bit more oomph now, I would say. I mean, people at least acknowledge it. I mean,
it's called Hug a Tree Day.
It's Hug a Tree Day. Just watch out for the sap.
Oh, that's funny. I just passed a Pokemon episode. I'm now in the Johto League episodes of Pokemon as I watch them ahead, and I just passed the episode with Heracross, and they were sucking the sap out of trees.
Oh dear.
Oh, what?
Oh dear.
They were sucking the sap out so the other Pokemon can go over to the tree and start sucking on them.
What have you brought to the show?
In 1998, on April 22nd, is the official day that Disney's Animal Kingdom opened at Walt Disney World for the very first time. And I will say that is my wife's favorite place to go out there when we do visit Disney. Not Disney, but when we visit Florida, because I feel like we go there at least once every other year now. But Yeah, I like it. The last time we went, it was they had a lot of stuff under construction. So I can't wait to go back and see what these new ventures that they opened up at Animal Kingdom.
Well, I don't know how far ahead they're going to be because they kind of had to stop everything, obviously.
I know. Well, I mean, obviously we're living in a whole different time frame, and I don't want to date the podcast too much, but as of right now, we're kind of in the midst of the whole COVID-19. Things are starting to open back up finally. But
Whether or not you agree with that is another issue.
yeah, as of this upcoming Friday, actually, people will be able to sit inside restaurants again, and movie theaters are opening back up.
Even
So
though there's nothing to fucking see.
yeah, everything's on demand. Um, but but yeah, no, everything seems to be opening back up as of right now. I'm not going to be one of the first people back in Disney World, but I'm going to see how things kind of pan out because I kind of have three free round trip tickets for the family to go to Florida or fly anywhere in the U.S. that I want to fly, and we have to use it by next year. So
Oh.
yeah,
Like this time next year? Like,
yeah. I think we have to use them by WrestleMania season.
oh, gotcha.
So yeah, since our stuff got canceled for WrestleMania this past year due to COVID-19, because unbeknownst to everyone, that's where we were all going this year. But yeah, it got canceled and they gave us credit for to use for up to a year. So we get to fly somewhere, but we're not sure where we're flying or when we're flying. So we'll see.
Yeah.
But unbeknownst to that, yeah, 1998 Animal Kingdom, first time it opened up. So yeah, I like it. It's a nice little zoo, and they have some cool rides there.
Yeah. That's one of the ones. It's obviously, my main attraction is, the fucking main park, but
Walt Disney World.
Animal
Magic.
Kingdom and um, there's Epcot, Animal, and there's a fourth one, isn't there?
There's Epcot, Animal Kingdom, Hollywood Studios.
Hollywood Studios, yeah.
Yeah, and Hollywood Studios is what has Star Wars, which is what I still want to go see Star Wars land over there. So should be good.
Hopefully.
Yeah. But all right, back to Pokemon. So on this episode, Challenge of the Samurai, we also do the Who's That Pokemon at the beginning so we don't kind of interrupt our flow. And this week's Who's That Pokemon was Metapod. So good old Metapod. He's kind of they're continuing the whole if you're watching this episode, you should know who this Pokemon is, which I still think that they should do, but they probably ran out of Pokemon to show on certain Who's That Pokemon. I'm going to look into why they don't do that anymore. I mean, they do the Who's That Pokemon, but some episodes it's just Who's that Pokemon? It's Charizard, and the whole episode's about Pikachu. Like, why?
Right.
Why? Or it's Mewtwo. Mewtwo's never been on a damn episode of. Actually, he has.
Uh-oh. When?
He was on the first season of Pokemon, right before the first movie came out. Do you remember in the first Pokemon movie when Giovanni had Mewtwo and Mewtwo broke out of the cage and busted out of the building?
Uh-huh.
So they play the scene of what was happening with Giovanni while this was all happening. He was on the phone with Team Rocket, and then all of a sudden Mewtwo got out, and he had to hang up the phone with James and Jesse Or wow, I think that's the first time and only time I'm going to say their names backwards, Jesse and James. And then all of a sudden you see Mewtwo with all the metal on him shoot out of the building, and that's the only shot that you get of Mewtwo on the actual animated series.
Oh, all
Yeah.
right.
So can't wait until we get to that episode.
Well, we get to that episode, and that means the movie will be after that, and the movie's going to be like a 4-hour chunk.
Yeah, it is. Because us just getting through a 20-minute episode is like an hour. So, all right, everybody. So, are you guys ready for Pokemon? Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get on into it. All right. So, before we get into this, do you have anything else to add or any other references, Doug, before we jump into this episode?
I don't think so.
All right. So we started this episode with the recap that we have gotten on 2 out of the 4 episodes that we're reviewing so far. And they went all the way back, Doug, to episode 1.
Yeah, and I think that's the reason for it, because obviously we didn't get it last week. They just kind of threw us into the the Caterpie battle. So maybe that was, and obviously too, this is getting towards the end of the week, and they know, they're not going to be on during the weekend, so they just said, hey, you're not going to see this again until Monday. Here, we're just going to throw all our stuff at you.
Yeah. So this, as you said, this was the end of the week. They did the full recap to remind you, and then you get a couple of days off, and then the next episode is on the 14th, 3 days later. So
Yeah.
kind of weird, but yeah. So we start this episode with Misty screaming, and she's in a tree, and Ash is kind of wondering what the fuck is going on.
Yeah, Misty still got a. Oh, I was gonna make a really bad joke, and I'm not gonna do it.
Do it.
No, I'm not gonna do it because it's a bad joke, and I'll quit the show.
Do it. You got to do it.
Oh, god damn it! I was gonna say Misty still has a bug up her butt, but I.
Get it? Because
I just don't.
All right, but continue, Doug.
Yeah, no, Misty's obviously still freaked out. Even though I believe we ended last week with her, she was about to kind of make amends with Caterpie before it evolved into Metapod, and then, Misty was still running away from Metapod at the end of the episode.
Yeah. But this time we have Weedle.
Yes.
And Weedle comes into the frame. Misty falls out of the tree, and Ash is looking at Weedle like, "Oh, I'm gonna catch it."
Yeah, he's still in that stage where if a wild Pokemon comes along, he's gonna. Which I think fair play to him. I think he should be.
Yeah, if I was a Pokemon trainer, I'd be trying to catch everything. But my thing is in the Pokemon world, and I'm sure we're going to get it answered at some point. But the only time that I've actually seen a Pokeball not get used anymore is when it actually broke in half. So, and that's when Ash's Snorlax Pokeball broke because it hit a rock.
Right.
And he wasn't able to get his Snorlax over to the damn Pokemon Center, so they had to find a way to get it there. That was a funny episode. But yeah, if I had a Pokeball, I'd try to catch everything.
Yeah, I would definitely. But my thing is, and it's never addressed on how does Ash get more Pokeballs?
True. Because he is kind of a broke trainer, and you don't ever see the trainers. Like in the Pokemon game, that's how you make money is by battling.
Right.
And bless you, by the way.
Thank you.
But in the Pokemon series, you don't ever see them exchange money because I think Ash kind of loses more than he wins. So you would think he would be even broker.
He would, yeah, definitely. Especially he's first starting out. He's just kind of going headlong into things, not really thinking.
So, all right. So Ash is looking at Misty. I'm sorry for the pause. I was looking at what was happening. So Ash, Misty's like, you can just poke it with a stick. And he's like, you really think that I'm going to pass up an opportunity to catch a Weedle? He's like, I'm a Pokemon trainer. And whips out the damn Pokedex, and the Pokedex tells him exactly who Weedle is, and he's ready to battle.
We missed probably the joke of the series so far.
Oh, okay. What was the joke?
Misty was running away from the Weedle, and Ash goes, well, good thing it wasn't a Caterpie, and fucking Pikachu and Misty just go, ah.
Oh, and let's see. Okay, so after after that, Ash is like, okay, well, this time I'm going to catch it the right way. So Pikachu, let's go at it. And Pikachu is damn near, because Pikachu does not want to battle. So Pikachu took out his sleeping bag and is on the ground and just turns his back to Ash and goes, chew. And Misty and Ash almost fall to the damn ground.
Yeah, they kind of have the same reaction that Pikachu and Misty have to Ash's joke. So they're just rapid fire with those.
And then Ash gets out his other two because he has a Pidgeotto and a Metapod, and he's like, I have two other Pokemon who will definitely give me the respect that I deserve. And he just bounces these Pokeballs in his hand,
which is kind of a dick move, but
and as Ash is saying that, Misty goes, I think you need to have your head examined. And Weedle is like all hugging up on her leg, and she just flips
books
shit.
It. I mean, she's gone. Like she's not having any of it. That's not it, fam.
And the way that she ran away from it, Weedle kind of looked like he had just gotten tackled and lands right on his face. But okay, how bogus do you have to be to send out your big ass bird Pokemon against Weedle?
Well, ordinarily I'd like taking little pot shots at Ash, but he didn't really have a choice.
That's true, because Metapod can't really attack. All it can do is harden.
Oh boy, wait a couple minutes for that, boy. It was battle of the century. But yeah, I mean, he didn't really have a choice. Pikachu was on a nap break, and Metapod's just kind of chilling.
So all Ash has is his Pidgeotto, and he sends out Pidgeotto, and he goes, Pidgeotto, gust attack. And Pidgeotto does gust attack on it, and Weedle flops around on the ground. And I bet Ash really regrets not catching this damn Weedle.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, hindsight's 20/20, right? I mean,
but yeah.
Yeah, because if he catches his Weedle, the episode's like 10 minutes.
I know. So, all right. So as Weedle flops onto his face, we get Misty just walking away, talking to herself, and then out of nowhere, we see a sword getting pulled out of its shaft.
Right. And he comes right up to Misty's nose
and just puts the sword straight up to her face. Now correct me if I'm wrong. They can't put stuff like this in kids' cartoons anymore, because he has a full-fledged sword and he just whips it out and puts it right in front of Misty's face, and Misty's like, oh geez.
No, I mean, yeah, because that's realistic violence. I mean, you can have, cartoons with, laser guns and everything, but like this is realistic. Dude's got a sword right up to a girl's face.
Yeah. And now looking back at this now, I mean, looking at this as a kid, I mean, I thought that this trainer was older, but this trainer looks a little younger than Ash and Misty. So, I mean, how old do you get that this little samurai person kid is?
Well, look, ever since you told me Misty was only 15, I've been fucked up.
No, Misty's 10, Brock
Or,
is 15.
that's right, I've been fucked up, so I'm probably gonna go ahead and guess that this samurai is probably like 8. You know,
Okay, exactly. So, what the hell is he doing out in Pokemon World?
he's a latchkey kid. I don't know what to tell you.
Do you want to give our listeners what happened next with good old Samurai?
So yeah, he basically goes, "Are you the one? Are you the trainer from Pallet?" And she goes, "Well, that's not me." And he goes, "Oh." Um, he says a word I can't remember, and I'm not gonna fucking because I don't want to play the audio and get us struck. Um,
No, we're good. So he basically says I will refrain from battling you basically
basically is like, "Oh, damn, okay," and he moves on.
because he's looking for Ash or Gary.
Well, he's
I
at
think
this
he's
point.
looking for Gary.
No, at this point, he's looking for Ash because he's the last one from Pallet Town.
Oh, yes.
Because they
Yes.
go through that sequence later.
And he's battled all of them.
Right. And that's another time I think we get kind of a subtle hint about which Pokemon Gary has taken.
Yes, and we'll get into that once we get over to that scene. But after he says that he's going to spare Misty, Misty just flops on the ground and she's like, "What the hell just happened? That is a weird kid."
And then she kind of has a eureka moment. She's like, "Trainer from Pallet. Oh my God, he's talking about Ash."
And then we get back to the battle scene with Pidgeotto and Weedle, and boy, this battle took a hard turn from like the two minutes that we were away with Misty because Weedle's coming back and trying to basically kill this Pidgeotto, trying to hit Pidgeotto with Poison Sting.
Yeah, I would have really liked to have seen Weedle's comeback here. Because the last time we saw Weedle, he was basically incapacitated.
Yeah, and then out of nowhere, now he's like flying midair trying to poison sting Pidgeotto, and Pidgeotto basically just flies right over him, gusting all the dirt and sand that's around him and puts Weedle back on his ass. This must be a really strong Weedle.
Well, and that, I think, lends further credence to your, Ash is probably kicking himself for not catching this Weedle.
Yeah, but I don't blame Ash as much because he was ready. Like that whatever that sand attack or just flying over Weedle was, it knocked out this Weedle, and then here comes Mr. Samurai right behind Ash as he gets his Pokeball out to catch this Weedle.
Yeah, and to me this was kind of like coughing in the middle of a golfer's backswing.
Oh, why is that?
Well, because Ash has the Pokeball out, right? Like
Yes.
he's in battle, like, and I understand, all's fair in love in Pokemon battles, but you can clearly see dude's in the middle of something.
Yeah, but this little kid did not care because Ash goes, I'm a Pokemon trainer from Pallet Town, and I'm about to catch this Weedle. And this kid goes, "Oh, I found you at last." And then here comes Misty running up.
Yeah, yeah. After the sword has been drawn again.
And this kid just takes the sword. I don't know why I find this so comical, but he takes the sword out again out of the little shaft and just puts it up in the air and points it right at Ash's nose. And Ash is basically like, "What the hell are you doing, kid? Do you not see that I'm busy?" Like if Ash could cuss, I would love to see Pokemon remade and like have the anime dubbed like an adult version, because Ash would just be cursing all up a storm. Like, kid, like what the hell are you doing?
Like, back off. Like, I'll deal with you in a second, but I'm fitting to catch this Weedle.
But Ash does have some balls though, because he does tell the kid, "Hey, that sword doesn't scare me, kid." And I don't know about you, but some kid comes out flaring a damn sharp sword in my face, I'm either sending my Pokemon after him or we're gonna throw down.
Yeah, I mean, I'd probably take a step back. I'm not going to sit here and lie to you, but after that, it's like, all right, A, you're not going to do anything because I'm bigger than you, and B, you owe me a Weedle, because
Because
Ash looks back and that Weedle's, not exactly booking it, but that Weedle is kind of like peacing out.
yeah, he's like, I'm out of here, I'm gone. So yeah, because he basically just got defeated, but now Weedle is going back to tell the rest of his family, which we'll find out later.
So you know what?
What's up?
And I know I'm skipping a few things, but this kind of just hit me just now talking about it. All the shit that's about to go down is not Ash's fault.
No.
It's the samurai's fault.
Yes.
Because if the samurai had just waited a minute, let
Ash catch the damn Weedle.
and then they could battle. But the samurai distracted Ash, which allowed the Weedle to worm itself away.
To go tell its family.
To go tell the family, which includes, all the Beedrills in the world, apparently. And that dumb samurai has enough balls to yell at Ash and call him a novice.
Yes, correct.
It's like, no, you helmet-headed fuck.
So, all right. Well, yeah. Well, you kind of just said it right there. Basically, this samurai trainer challenges Ash to a Pokemon battle.
Yes.
So we have a stare down. Misty is standing in the middle in the far back, just all like surprised and whatnot. The samurai kid takes out his Pokeball. Now in this sequence, I'm just going to guess that this trainer has to be 10. Because now looking at him now in this, like he looked younger, but then when with this shot of them kind of panning away at the ground, he's a little husky kid.
Ah, so you're thinking he's 10, he's developed the wrong way.
Yeah.
Ah.
He's a little husky.
He would be the catcher on the baseball team.
Correct. Actually he does look like the catcher.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Well, I mean, it doesn't help with the equipment either.
Yeah. And as they pan away, Pikachu is looking at him and is like, "All right, Pika."
No, it's nice to see that Pikachu finished his nap.
For real. So, all right. So from there, let's see.
So from there, the samurai throws out a pincer, which is, again, the first time we've seen a pincer, which means Ash gets to bust out the Pokédex again.
And the Pokédex tells Ash about Pinsir, and now I do give Ash credit, but at the same time, I mean, we'll get into it when he uses his damn Metapod, that I give Ash credit, but he didn't know what he was doing to earn that credit, if you get what I mean.
Well, no, he doesn't get credit at all because he's an idiot because he throws out Pidgey, Odo.
Yeah.
Who has clearly just apparently had a knockdown drag out with that Weedle and is on the floor, and Misty again gets to have a pop at him. And
yeah, why don't you ever don't you know to give your Pokemon a little rest every once in a while?
So here we go again. Because, so, okay, obviously Pidgeotto's out.
Yes.
Right. but we're gonna go so he goes with Metapod, which
So
is dumb
because he has Pikachu.
because Pikachu's awake now.
But this trainer, wow, that's a big word for this trainer to use. He said only a novice will go into battle with a Pokemon that is already defeated.
Well, I mean, and again, it's not like the kid's, pulling bullshit. He's telling the truth.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, we've established Ash has only been on the job for like 4 days or whatever.
If that,
If that.
I think he's only like maybe 2 or 3 days out.
So he's not exactly wrong when the samurai calls him a novice.
So he returns his Pidgeotto and he throws out his Pokeball and here is Metapod.
And the samurai has a field day. He's like, well, I mean, I win now because I mean, I just, it's a wrap, fam. And,
yeah.
Because he's like, look at Pinsir's claws and look at Metapod, and then Ash has this horrible.
Oh my God! I think this is the one and only time we've actually ever seen a Pokemon die in a thought.
Yeah, because there's no Metapod's just hurt. No, the fucker's in half. Like,
yeah, he divided Metapod and just killed him, and Ash is like, oh crap,
shit. Which again, here's a chance. Pull him back. Go with Pikachu. He's awake. But no.
And even Misty has some remorse because she's like, yeah, Metapod does not deserve this.
Yeah, not even a bug, she says. But
he does tell Metapod to harden. And Metapod hardens and Pinsir tries to crush it, but then crushes its own, I guess you can call them spikes or pinchers or whatever, what have you.
I'm gonna go with spike because the horns themselves don't break.
No, it's just part of the spike.
Right.
But
so
Metapod beat a Pinsir.
Which in the game would probably be worth quite a bit of XP.
Yeah, which is probably why we have what happens in this episode happen.
Well, that and a helpful Pokédex entry that we'll get into, which is bullshit because the time doesn't add up. But again, we'll get there. So what's the samurai trainer's secret weapon? Why? It's another Metapod.
Oh God, I could not. My mouth dropped when I was rewatching this. I was like, oh, okay, so we have 2 Metapods, the battle of the century. Who can harden the most?
Which, I mean, I think one of them, I think the samurai, it was obviously either the samurai or Ash. I think it was a samurai that says extra hard, and I was like, that does not mean what you think it means.
And okay, so I'm gonna pull the curtain back a little bit. I've actually had this battle before, and I actually had to shut my game off. So
oh no,
yeah. So I was playing. Actually, this was not too long ago. I was replaying Pokemon Red version on my Nintendo Switch. Okay, and people are like, wait a minute, how are you playing that? Don't you fucking worry about it. I was playing it though. That's irrelevant. But I was replaying Pokemon Red and I had a Caterpie and my Charmander had already fainted, but my Caterpie had evolved into a Metapod and I was fighting a trainer inside of the green patch where you get your Caterpie and he had a Metapod. And boy, the only thing my Caterpie or my Metapod knew was tackle and harden.
Right.
But when you have another Metapod that all he's doing is hardening, do you know how hard it is to drain down a Metapod who is completely hard? That's probably the wrong wording, but
I can't answer that question. I'm thinking of too many jokes. I can't.
But yeah, it's hard to take down a Metapod who's completely hardened.
Yeah, I mean, what's the opposite of Viagra?
Soft.
Um,
Viagra.
no, it'd be like Viagress or something.
But as the Metapods are hardening, we get a shot of Misty and her bikini and Pikachu in a lounge chair just sipping what looks like to be a margarita and tea for Pikachu.
Which is bullshit, because there again, Pikachu's just lounging.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah. How come Ash has not called back his Metapod in battle yet and have Pikachu go out there?
And, the whole Misty is 10 thing. I mean, I understand it's a cartoon, but it's still like,
Yeah, you should see other Japanese high school animes. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen a couple.
Japanese don't give two fucks about age when it comes to their cartoons.
No. Or their video game.
Yeah, or the video games.
So yeah, they're going at it, and who hears the swarm first? Is it the samurai?
Actually no, so we're not there yet. So after that part, we have Meowth and Jesse and James
right,
walking in a cardboard car, and Meowth is on top of the car, just lounging back. I mean, these Pokemon are lazy this episode.
Yeah, I mean, at least Meowth somewhat has an excuse. He's like, I'm riding Lookout. And then, Jesse's like, look out for this, and flings him off. Which, that's good.
And James is sitting here complaining because he doesn't want to be in the damn car. And Jesse's all, will you stop complaining?
Like, have you ever been stung by a bee drill? It hurts, And like, okay, I wouldn't want to be. I mean, I've been stung by a bee a couple times, and it's not great.
So yeah, they're basically just trying to get out of this forest by pretending to be a car so that they don't get stung.
Right.
So, I mean, it's a good idea.
And then we cut back to the trainers, and it's, they're in such an intense staring contest that they both faint.
Oh.
And then something wicked comes over the hill.
Yeah, but you're skipping over Misty's funny ass line. She said that Ash and this other samurai trainer are more hard headed than the Metapod. Get it? Because all they doing is hardening.
Yeah, we're not giving any respect to Misty on this episode.
I know, but yeah, now as you were saying, Misty hears a swarm but doesn't know, and the samurai says that a swarm of Beedrill are coming, so he returns his Metapod and basically says, "I'm out of here."
Yeah, he books it, and then we just see one. Well, we see one Beedrill.
No, we see a swarm of them.
Oh, I cut too far ahead.
No, no, you're good.
We see a swarm, and then one swoops down and
tries to go after Metapod.
Tries? He fucking gets him. What do you mean tries?
So he picks up Metapod and flies away.
And then Ash is sitting there doing the return thing, and obviously it's not catching, and then Metapod disappears.
His aim is horrible.
And then another Beedrill comes in, but Pikachu finally decides to fucking be a Pokemon.
And Thunder shocks it.
So, and I'm sitting here going, where the fuck have you been for the first 5 minutes of this goddamn episode?
And Pikachu still doesn't know how to aim because he's still shocking Ash.
Hey, he has received no formal training.
You can aim your damn Thunder Shock.
He has received no training in accuracy or nothing.
And it's at this time that we would get the Metapod, who's that Pokemon? And then we come back into the episode and the samurai is booking it. Misty grabbed Ash and Ash and Misty are running. Pikachu is booking it. And this is, I'd be scared shitless right now.
Yeah, right now, because we end up in a den of Kakuna, who, low-key, and I'll freely admit, I completely forgot there was a step between Weedle and Beedrill.
Yeah.
Like, I was booting up to this episode, and I was like, Caterpie, Metapod, Butterfree, Weedle, and I'm like, it can't just go Weedle to Beedrill.
Nope. But at this time, we do see his Metapod.
Yeah, he's behind a tree that one of the Kakunas is attached to. Now, I got the impression that a Kakuna is less active than a Metapod.
Yes.
Right?
Well, that's what it looks like in the way that they portrayed, because all the Kakuna are attached to the tree and they're just hanging around.
Right.
And they're not doing a damn thing. As for Metapod can be picked up and moved around, and then when it evolves, it just hatches just like the Kakuna do. But oh boy, do they come into a great time with these bee Pokemon.
Well, yeah, because, like you said, Ash sees Metapod, and he's like, hey, and then, fucking,
Misty tells him to shut the hell up.
Basically, for lack of a better term, stirs the hornet's nest. And then the Beedrill hatch out of the Kakuna, and they chase him again, and the samurai's like, we can get into my shack.
And how does this boy have a shack?
He's a latchkey kid, I'm telling you. He's, he's just out here doing the damn thing.
But one part, I mean, on this, you see how sharp the damn Beedrill are, because as soon as they get into this hut and they close the door, the Beedrill are trying to sting the mess out of them, and their stinger goes right through the door.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, these big Beedrill had no chill, dude.
Well, granted, I don't imagine that door is super thick, but your point is still valid. Because they were just, no punk ass door was going to stop them.
Yeah. So, all right. And at this point, the samurai takes off all of his gear and then starts blaming Ash for everything that's going on. Do you want to go over this next part, Doug?
No, because I already did it. Samurai's a punk ass bitch. If he would have adhered to the Pokemon owner's code and let Ash do the battle one way or the other, we wouldn't be in this mess.
No.
Because Ash would have caught that Weedle, and he wouldn't have had to go back to the fucking den of death. And, yeah, the episode would have been 5 minutes long.
Now, how long did it actually take that damn Weedle to get back over to its group? Because they were hardening from what seemed like the morning into, like, late afternoon.
That's a fair point.
And it took that Weedle a long time to get back.
Maybe that Weedle caught a ride on a fucking Rat-a-tat or something.
Yeah, but, I mean, Ash just has bad luck when it comes to Pokemon episodes, because even in a later episode, so you remember in the very first episode when Ash threw the rock at the Spearow, right?
Yes, Ash is a dickhead moment one.
Yes. So later in the episode, I forget exactly which episode, but they're returning to Pallet Town, and that Spearow has evolved into a pharaoh, and he is still vengeful for Ash and goes after his ass.
I remember that. Does he still have the bump, or is it just a gleam in his eye?
It's just a gleam. Like it thinks back to the time that Ash threw the Pokeball or threw the rock at it, and Ash is thinking in his head, he's like, why is this bird coming after me? And then Ash remembers, and he's like, oh, crap.
I remember that Firo remembering him.
So, I mean, dickhead Ash, you need to go and start apologizing to these Pokemon. You're going to have a miserable time walking around the world.
Well, he does. I mean, we'll get to that in a second. 'Cause that's kind of how the episode
Kind of ends, but
reaches a conclusion here.
yeah. So, all right. So, as we get further into this episode, Ash goes back out of the little barn or hut,
Hut, yeah.
and he's looking for his Metapod, and he finds Metapod again. But then out of nowhere, of course, who comes out to ruin all the fun is good old Meowth from Team Rocket.
Meowth gives him a curb stomp and then slashes him across the fucking face.
And
I would have jumped on. Well, I probably wouldn't because I'd fucking be bleeding. But
yeah, I was about to say, like, I just got scratched in the face. Like, can you imagine, like, a real life Ash, how many scars and stuff this boy probably has?
and again, he hasn't been on the job for a week
I know.
because he's been attacked by Spearow and Firo. He's been shocked. He's gone into. I mean, he's gone into water.
This boy, I mean, all his clothes are wet. He hasn't washed anything. This boy probably stinks and smells and just ew.
Yeah, just not a good time.
And it's not like he could have washed his clothes at the last Pokemon Center because he blew it up.
This is true. Except for one computer.
I forgot about that one computer. All right, but
yeah, I remember. If you remember back, I don't know if I believe this is in the first episode. I asked you how long before Team Rocket's intro got fucked up. Apparently, it was 4 episodes.
Yes, because in this episode, Team Rocket's going through their spiel and they shoot off some smoke bombs, which then awakens the Beedrill in the damn tree.
Well, yeah, and Ash is sitting here going, "Not now, guys. Seriously, not now. Like, I hate you, but that's not the reason. Like, shut up."
And after they set that off, the Beedrill, you see them sleeping in the tree, and then their eyes glow red, and then they're like, "Oh, we got them now." And the Beedrill get up, and they just start hauling ass at all of them.
And Team Rocket runs to their little paper tank, and they pick it up, and they find out it's been snacked upon by Weedle.
Oh, that's awesome. So now they have no paper card to fool the Pokemon to thinking that they're a regular card. So they're like, "Oh, crap." So they start running away. And thankfully, actually, I'm going to thank Team Rocket for doing this, because if it wasn't for Team Rocket, I don't think Ash would have gotten his Metapod back.
No, I mean, they ran a diversion. I mean, obviously without them knowing it, but, Ash uses the distraction to go and pick up the Metapod, and he's running, and he trips, and poor Metapod goes a-flying.
Yeah. So, but we're missing one of the main parts though. Ash actually tells Metapod to get back into the Pokeball, and the Metapod looks at Ash and goes, "No."
Yeah, so that's the second time that's happened in 3 days.
I know.
Apparently.
So
Ash is not having a good time.
No, he's not. And it just happens that Metapod is like, "Okay, yeah, I'm your Pokemon, but you let me get stolen, and I've been sitting here afraid while I have a bunch of Beedrill sleeping around me. You abandoned me, basically."
Yeah, you're fucked. You suck. I'm going to report you to the Pokemon Better Business Bureau or whatever the fuck.
For real. But as you were saying, Beedrill comes out and tries to sting Ash again. And at this moment, Metapod jumps up and tackles Beedrill midair.
Which is, all things considered, pretty badass.
Yeah, it is.
Because, I mean, Metapod is essentially he's a fucking cocoon. And, Metapod Scampers.
He has a Caterpie inside of him.
Well, but he essentially he's just a cocoon. Like he can't, other than harden and tackle. That's about all he can do.
Yeah.
And then, well, I think we missed a subtle little thing because after Metapod falls out of Ash's arms, Ash kind of has this "woe is me" kind of speech where he's like, maybe the samurai's right, maybe I am
a bad trainer.
And I tell you what, if we can get through this, I'm never gonna take my Pokemon for granted again, and I'm gonna just turn it around from here on out. And you could see the Metapod's affected because you could see its eye kind of go glassy.
Yeah, and he finally realizes that Ash does care for him.
So we can chalk that one in the column of a Pokemon coming around to Ash's way of thinking.
Yeah, because Ash is a jerk.
He's still a jerk. So after Metapod scares away the Beedrill, he lands in Ash's arms, and then evolves again. For the final time into a Beedrill, and then that's when the Pokédex speaks up.
No, not a Beedrill, a Butterfree.
Butterfree. And then that's when the Pokédex speaks up and goes, after a week, Metapod will evolve into Butterfree. And I'm sitting here going, there is no fucking way it's been a week.
Yeah.
Shenanigans, like right away. Like, it hasn't been a week. Unless it has, because they did technically sleep through the night in the shack.
And they've been trying to get over to Butterfree. And maybe we just missed a bunch of attempts of Ash trying to get the Butterfree back. And if it's been a week, I can totally understand why Metapod did not want to go back over to Ash.
Well, yeah, I hadn't even thought of that. So either it doesn't add up and it was a decent line that nobody caught, or I don't know. But so we have Butterfree,
and all the Beedrill are coming back.
Yes.
And Ash tells Butterfree, and I'm surprised that he knew that Butterfree had this attack, but he tells Butterfree to do sleep powder on all the Beedrill.
Yeah, so this is another thing where it's like, and obviously we don't need to be shown everything because they only have, 20 minutes at a shot.
Yeah.
But Ash can't be an idiot. Right? Like, he must have done studying.
Yeah.
Because Butterfree is a minute and a half old, and he knows enough to use sleep powder. Like, so Ash must study tapes or look up reference books or something.
And we might be glossing over, but remember in the very first episode, he was watching old Pokemon League videotapes.
Yeah. So
inside of his room.
So he must be a visual learner or something. Otherwise, he's just staying up at night just going through the Pokédex.
Yeah. So, I mean, if he is going through the Pokédex, then he's an idiot because he whips up that Pokédex for every single Pokemon. I forgot. Who are you?
That's a good point.
So, it's at this point, the samurai acknowledges Ash as being a good trainer, and Misty is very proud, and Pikachu is proud as well. But why the hell could Pikachu not just Thundershock all of these Beedrill like he's done in the past to the Fearow from the very first episode?
Butterfree needs a moment to shine. Come on now.
Okay, true. But yeah, so I mean, we're basically towards the very end of the episode now. And Ash is just like happy. He's jumping in the air, shaking his legs. And it's at this point that the samurai tells Ash, if you take this route right here, this will lead you to Pewter City, where you can get your very first gym badge.
Right.
So we're getting there. We're getting there, Doug. We're almost there at the very first sighting where Brock will be.
I mean, it's not a spoiler, but it's a heads up because I mean that's the next episode. Um, let's see. Yeah. And then we kind of get what essentially is it's basically a post credits because the episode's basically over after they start walking down that road. But we
And
cut to
Team Rocket waking up
and they have been and I think their bright idea was to disguise themselves as Kakuna,
to get out of there.
but they end up bickering and it wakes up the bee drill.
And the B drill at this point start evolve. It doesn't wake the B drill. It has
No,
the
it wakes the bee drill.
it wakes the B drill, and the Kakuna are looking at him too, like, who the hell are you? And then they just start getting stung by all the B drill.
and then that's the to be continued screen. So yeah, that's the episode.
Good episode.
Yeah, the last two we've done have been my favorites. Big fan of forward momentum, and it seems like the end of 2 into 3 and 4 have basically just been let's fucking go.
Oh, jeez. Sorry, I just realized one of the episodes that I'm not too fond of is coming up. Damn.
Would you like to share with the class?
Sure. And I might feel I'm sorry if I feel a different way, and I will give a positive review of it. But episode 6, Clefairy and the Moonstone, or as it's called in Japanese, Pippi and the Moonstone, because Clefairy is called Pippi in Japanese. I don't like that episode.
Maybe you'll like it on a rewatch.
Yeah, maybe I'll like it on a rewatch. But next week, you don't have to worry about that episode yet, because next week we have
Don't tell that to the people.
I know.
Don't tell.
We have Showdown in Pewter City, or as it's translated in Japanese, Battle of Nibby Gym, and Nibby being the name of pewter in Japanese. So they call it Nibby. I guess Nibby City, but
Nibby and Pibby, all right.
So yeah, we have that episode next week, so you don't have long to listen, or if you're listening to this on delay, you'll be able to listen to this next.
Yeah, doing a nice little early episodes binge.
So, but that was episode 4. Again, this episode was called Challenge of the Samurai, or as it's called in Japanese, Challenge of Butterfree. Yeah, I do like the English version, but better.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is this week's episode. And Doug, do you have any final words that you want to point out?
No, I feel like we're at a point that these episodes are building on each other. We'll see how I feel about episode 6. It's been a hot minute since I've seen
any of these.
A good chunk of these, yeah. So episode 5, we're getting our first introduction into what it is to be a gym leader and a gym battle and all that. And, something to be said about episode 6, we get our first introduction into stones.
Yeah, that's true.
So we'll see. But yeah. Really enjoying this. It seems to be really.
It's a reflection on my childhood.
It really is. You sit down for 20 minutes and you're like, holy shit.
Because it was either this or Power Rangers, and I'm not reviewing Power Ranger episodes. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't think I'd be with you.
Yeah, I liked Power Rangers. I can't say I like it anymore because what my son watches now with Power Rangers, I can't even call that Power Rangers. But it's not. It's just they've done so much. Like You remember Zordon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Zordon and all of that never happened.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like every city in America has a different version of Power Rangers, and it's just, yeah, it's dumb.
I don't think I care for that.
No, I don't either, because Power Rangers from Angel Grove fucking saved the whole damn world, as you now have Power Rangers in every damn city. It's just stupid. But anyway, this is not a Power Ranger podcast. This is a Pokemon podcast. So, Doug, if you don't have anything else to say, go ahead and say goodbye, Doug, and thank our listeners for listening.
Goodbye, Doug, and we'll see you next week.
All right, everybody, and my name is Wrestling Chris G, and I will also see you next week on Showdown in Pewter City. Have a good night, everybody.